Hello and welcome. We are live from New Delhi. You're watching DD India Live, India's voice to the world. I'm Abhishek Mahajan. Coming up in the next 30 minutes. India's cabinet clears the proposal to hold simultaneous elections in India. Union Minister Ashwini Vaishnav says polls would be held in 2 phases. India's Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman launches NPS Vatsalya scheme meant for securing financial future of children. The US Secretary of State Antony Blinken says Gaza ceasefire is best way to ensure regional stability in West Asia. A top story: Union Cabinet chaired by Prime Minister Narendra Modi has accepted the proposal by a panel headed by former President of India Ramnath Kovind to hold national and state elections simultaneously in the country. India's Minister of Information and Broadcasting Ashwini Vaishnav said that the recommendations would be implemented in 2 phases across the country.
Extensive feedback से आया था कि there is a widespread support for simultaneous elections in the country. There is a widespread support for simultaneous elections in the country. इसीलिए एनडीए सरकार की कैबिनेट ने आज सर्वसम्मति से इन रिकमेंडेशंस को एक्सेप्ट किया और इसका इम्प्लीमेंटेशन 2 फेजेस में होगा, जैसा कि कमेटी के रिकमेंडेशंस में है। फर्स्ट फेज में लोकसभा और असेंबलीज के इलेक्शंस को साइमल्टेनियस कराने का प्रयास होगा और उसके सेकंड फेज में लोकल बॉडी इलेक्शन से जो है ग्राम पंचायत, जिला पंचायत, ब्लॉक में पंचायत समिति और जितने भी अर्बन लोकल बॉडीज हैं, चाहे म्यूनिसिपैलिटीज हो, चाहे म्यूनिसिपल कमिटीज हो, चाहे म्यूनिसिपल कॉरपोरेशन हो, उन सब के लोकल बॉडी इलेक्शंस को विद इन 100 डेज ऑफ जनरल इलेक्शंस में करवाना, जिससे कि एक बार में सारे इलेक्शन का प्रोसेस कंप्लीट हो और फिर 5 साल तक सब के सब मेहनत करके देश के निर्माण में लगे.
And the cabinet also approved the building of first unit of Bharatiya Antariksh Station by extending the scope of Gaganyaan program. The approval by the cabinet is given for development of first module of Bharatiya Antariksh Station, which is BAS-1, and undertake missions to demonstrate and validate various technologies for building and operating BAS.
Third approve किया गया गगनयान follow on and development of our first अंतरिक्ष station, space station. ये प्रोग्राम जो पहले प्रोग्राम अप्रूव हुआ था उसको काफी मल्टीप्लाई करके काफी बड़ा करके किया गया है. अब इसकी कॉस्ट 20,000 करोड़ की है और सारे के सारे जो मॉड्यूल्स इसके लिए डेवलप करने हैं वो सारे इसके अंदर इंक्लूड हुए. नेक्स्ट जनरेशन लॉन्च व्हीकल, अभी जो लॉन्च व्हीकल है वो 10 टन के लोड को, पे लोड को लेके जाता है, उसको 30 टन करने के लिए और उसमें नई टेक्नोलॉजीज जो आई हैं उन सबको लगाने के लिए ये मिशन अप्रूव हुआ है.
And there is no more worrying about your kids' future as the government comes up with new pension scheme for children. NPS Vatsalya offers flexible contributions and investment options, allowing parents to make an investment of ₹1,000 annually in the name of the child, thus making it accessible to families from all economic backgrounds. DD India's Anil Thomas has the details.
Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman launched the much-anticipated NPS Vatsalya scheme. The initiative, introduced in budget of 2024, aims to financially secure children's future by encouraging guardians to invest in a pension account on their behalf.
The alacrity and the speed with which both the Department of Financial Services and also the PFRDA have executed what was announced in the July budget in this kind of a speedy manner I'm pleasantly surprised. This kind of fulfilling what is said in the budget in a matter of a few months gives a lot of hope that budget speeches are not just read, but they are enacted upon and they are brought to the ground.
At the launch, 75 locations across the country got more than 2,500 new NPS Vatsalya account holders. 9 children got their PRAN cards or permanent retirement account number from the Union Minister.
For NPS Vatsalya scheme, it's a good scheme for minors. They have their earnings and they have to save their earnings from at the early age. And it's a very good scheme, and after that they will reach around their age, they will get some good pension and their lives for certificate.
NPS Vatsalya is a new pension scheme designed for minors. It allows parents and guardians to invest as little as 1,000 rupees annually in a child's future, making it accessible to families across all income levels.
वैसे अभी तो एनपीएस पेंशन तो है नहीं, तो मुझे लगता है एनपीएस बहुत ही ज़्यादा ज़रूरी है। मेरा तो पहले से ही था, तो मैं इंतज़ार ही कर रही थी माइनर का भी कुछ लॉन्च हो। तो सर जैसे ही लॉन्च हुआ मैंने खुलवा दिया इनका और आज इस प्रोग्राम में इनवाइटेड है।
Through long-term investments, the scheme aims to generate wealth with the power of compounding. Once a child turns 18, the account can be seamlessly converted into a regular NPS Tier 1 account. NPS Vatsalya highlights the Government of India's commitment in securing the financial future of children. Anil Thomas, DD India, New Delhi.
And India has launched the PM E-Drive scheme with a budget of INR 109 billion to boost electric vehicle adoption. It includes INR 36.79 billion in incentives for 2- and 3-wheelers, ambulances, trucks and public transport vehicles, replacing the FAME scheme, which is faster adoption and manufacturing of electric and hybrid vehicles in India. It will support 2.47 million electric two-wheelers, 14,028 buses and more. Union Minister H.D. Kumaraswamy says this is a step towards an electric future.
This initiative has been key in advancing our nation towards a greener, more technologically advanced and economically prosperous future. The FAME scheme stands as clear proof of the government's unwavering commitment to reducing carbon emissions and advancing sustainable transportation. FAME India scheme, launched in 2015, has evolved significantly. The initial phase, FAME 1, which ran from 2015 to 2019, laid the foundation by focusing on market creation through demand incentives for electric and hybrid vehicles and establishing a limited charging infrastructure.
And India's Vice President Jagdeep Dhankar presided as the chief guest at the valedictory session of the 4th edition of Global Reinvest Meet in Gujarat's Gandhinagar on Wednesday. In his speech, the Vice President underlined that interest in renewable energy is not optional, stressing that everyone should take interest in it as it concerns our existence.
Friends, let me tell you, interest in renewable energy is not optional. It is compulsive. We will have to take interest in this because this concerns our existence. And therefore, Renewable Energy Invest 2024 has potential to be a powerful catalyst for action. An action that is coming not a day too soon, an action that is in need of the hour.
And Reinvest is a global platform that brings together key players in the renewable energy sector. Moving on, EU Councillor for Energy, Climate Action and Environment Bartosz Przawra spoke to DD India at the European Union Pavilion at Reinvest Expo. He highlighted how EU and India are working in this sector of renewables and the numerous activities being done under the EU-India Clean Energy and Climate Partnership. He also highlighted the significance of being at the Expo, which helps meet various stakeholders of the industry and discuss ways to move forward.
We are here at the EU Pavilion at the Reinvest meet. Sir, we are talking about the EU and India cooperation in the sector of renewables. What do you have to say about it? Where are we at the moment?
Well, we are at the moment at the end of the second cycle of the very big platform of cooperation, which you can see there, EU-India Clean Energy and Climate Partnership, which is a big project that we have been running since 2016. So as I said, it's the end of the second cycle. We are planning to have the third cycle, maybe the fourth, maybe the fifth, we don't know. But for the moment, it really looks pretty good. Dozens, if not hundreds of different activities we have been doing. We have been exchanging our good experiences. We have been helping India with establishing the legislation. We have been organizing seminars, workshops, study tours, promoting the idea of green transition, because the whole thing is about green transition, it's about green energy.
So what do you have to say about this meet when we're talking where everyone, major of the stakeholders or maybe officials, private entities as well as public entities are participating? What's your reaction? What have you interacted with people? What's your sense?
Yes, of course. It's my first time that I am here, because I have been here in India only for 1 year, but we have been already active also in this conference in the previous years. Of course, we cannot be absent from here, because India is too important for us, and I think we are also pretty important for India in this sense. So this cooperation between India and the European Union is really very, very important and very strong in the area of green transition and of renewable energy.
So here we had the councillor at the European Union Pavilion talking to us about what's happening between India and the European Union in terms of renewables, in terms of clean energy, in terms of green energy. With camera person Lakshman Rajput, this is Meghna Dev for DD India from Gandhinagar, Gujarat.
And the Indian state of West Bengal has witnessed a continuous decline in its economic performance, reveals a paper published by the Economic Advisory Council to the Prime Minister. It also highlights continuous decline in its relative economic performance over several decades, and this is affecting the eastern part of the country. DD India's Vishal Barrister caught up with Sanjeev Sanyal, member ESA to the Prime Minister, who has done a research. Let's listen in.
This is a paper, as you can see, I've got it right here with me. It's called the Relative Economic Performance of Indian States. It's a report on the period from 1960-61 to 23-24. So it's over many decades. It comes up with many findings. It talks about, for example, how the southern states have done particularly well since 1991 reforms. It talks about how Gujarat has done specifically well since around about 2001. The consistent performance of Maharashtra. But one of the big findings of the report is the decline of West Bengal over decades. So if you went back to 1960-61, West Bengal was at that time 10.5% of India's GDP. Its per capita income was about 27% higher than that of the national average. Since then, it has continuously gone down. The percentage of West Bengal's share in the economy is down to 5.6%. So a decline over 7 decades, from 10.5% of the economy to 5.6% of the economy. Similarly, as I said, from being something like 27% above the national average in per capita income, being something like 15% below. So that massive shift in relative performance is something we should definitely be worried about, yes.
And India President Draupadi Murmu attended the 18th convocation of Malviya National Institute of Technology in Western Indian state of Rajasthan on Wednesday. Addressing the gathering, the President underscored that NITs were established to promote quality technical education and research in the country. She noted that the government is working with a vision to make India a developed nation by 2047, urging the students to provide leadership for national development.
हमने भारत को 2047 तक एक विकसित राष्ट्र बनाने का लक्ष्य तय किया है। राष्ट्रीय विकास को नेतृत्व प्रदान करना आपका कर्तव्य है। आपको अपने देश को आगे बढ़ाना है। आप अपनी विद्या और दृढ़ संकल्प के बल पर व्यक्तिगत जीवन के साथ साथ देश के भविष्य को स्वरूप प्रदान करने के लिए आगे बढ़ेंगे।
And polling for the first phase of assembly elections across 24 assembly constituencies in India's Jammu and Kashmir has concluded. As per reports received, 58.19% voter turnout was recorded till 5 p.m. This is the first election in the Union Territory after the abrogation of Article 370 of the Indian Constitution. Special polling stations were set up in the national capital New Delhi for Kashmiri migrant voters. The assembly polls in Jammu and Kashmir are being held in 3 phases, the second on September 25th and the third on October 1st. Votes will be counted on October 8th. All right, we'll slip into a very short break, but still to come on this edition of DD India Live. The death toll from exploding pagers in Lebanon rises to 12, including 2 children. The Delhi Metro Rail Corporation successfully completes first twin tunnels breakthrough under Phase 4 construction. And India gears up for Bangladesh series. First test to start at Chepauk on Thursday.
This week on Defence Dynamics, we unravel the evolving contours of India's military diplomacy in an increasingly complex global landscape of geopolitics. What do we make out of joint multinational military exercises like Exercise Tarang Shakti, Malabar, Yuddha Abhyas and Indira? What this actually means in terms of real geopolitics. We will also tell you how the military diplomacy works towards building a self-reliant indigenous defence industry for India and much more. This Wednesday at 8:30 PM IST only on DD India.
Welcome back. You're watching DD India Live. I'm Abhishek Mahajan. U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken stated on Wednesday that a ceasefire to end the Israel-Hamas war in Gaza is the best way to contain violence across the Middle East. He made these remarks during a joint press conference with Egyptian counterpart Badr Abdelati following a U.S.-Egypt strategic dialogue meeting in Cairo.
We all know that a ceasefire is the best chance to tackle the humanitarian crisis in Gaza, to address the risks to regional stability.
Now, the death toll from exploding pagers in Lebanon rose to 12, including 2 children, while 1,000 others were wounded. Explosions of hundreds of pagers that were used by Hezbollah members rocked Beirut on Tuesday. Hezbollah puts the blame on Israel, which has not made any comments so far. The United States has denied any role and called for diplomatic solution to the conflict. Russia calls it as act of hybrid war. And the 8th edition of India Water Week 2024 saw significant participation from global and national leaders. Key discussions took place on water sustainability, technology and best practices. Here's a report.
A ministerial plenary chaired by Minister of Jal Shakti C.R. Patil brought together delegates from countries like Denmark, Guyana, Zimbabwe and Tanzania, along with Indian state ministers. An exhibition was also inaugurated showcasing innovative water technologies.
The Green Strategic Partnership at its core is a cornerstone in our strong collaboration. And our collaboration runs deep between the second largest city called Aarhus in Denmark and the state of Rajasthan, and between the Danish Environmental Protection Agency and the Ministry of Jal Shakti.
Our strategic direction for the water sector comes out of the Water and Sanitation Sector Strategic Plan and the Hydrometeorological Service National Strategic Plan. Crucial areas of focus include increasing access to potable water supply for coastal and hinterland communities.
Global Water Leaders plenary sessions featured insights from international leaders discussing sustainable water solutions and global challenges in water management.
The 2023 United Nations Water Conference produced a water action agenda with more than 800 voluntary commitments from countries, private sector, civil society, organization, and non-governmental organization, and other water stakeholders. Indeed, Tanzania registered a number of commitments to enhance water supply and sanitation in the country, among other areas.
Partnerships and cooperation for inclusive water development and management. The theme exhibits great significance in today's context, where the world is witnessing the effects of climate change, as evidenced by the increased frequency of occurrence of extreme events such as droughts and floods. My country, Zimbabwe, has not been spared from the effects of climate change, as we currently seized with mitigating an El Nino-induced drought being experienced countrywide due to inadequate rains received in the 2023 to 2024 rainfall season.
The day also included a practitioners forum where experts shared success stories and lessons learned from the implementation of water schemes and programs across different regions. Kriti Vadhera's report for DD India.
And the Delhi Metro Rail Corporation successfully completed the first twin tunnels breakthrough under Phase 4 construction on Wednesday. In a major tunnelling feat, the two tunnel boring machines, Bhumi and Srishti, emerged concurrently at Pulbangash metro station. This marks the completion of 3-kilometer twin tunnels connecting Derwal Nagar to Pulbangash on the Janakpuri West RK Ashram corridor Magenta Line extension. With this twin tunnel breakthrough at Pulbangash, the corporation has built on the success of its earlier tunnelling achievements. And Nepal's ambassador to Bangladesh, Ghanshyam Bhandari, gave a courtesy call to the chief advisor of the interim government of Bangladesh, Muhammad Yunus, at the latter's office in Dhaka. Nepal and Bangladesh stressed the need to share experiences and best practices for a smooth, sustainable and irreversible graduation, as both nations are graduating from the LDC category in 2026. It is expected that the early commencement of the export of 40 megawatt hydroelectricity from Nepal to Bangladesh through the Indian transmission lines will be a transformative step in enhancing energy cooperation at the sub-regional level. Now let's take a look at other stories making news today. India's Ministry of Tourism is participating in the prestigious tourism trade fair IFTM Top Reza 2024 being held in Paris, France from September 17th to 19th. The incredible India Pavilion was inaugurated by Ambassador of India to France, Javed Ashraf. This participation underscores India's strategic intent to strengthen its presence in key international markets with the goal of significantly increase inbound tourism. India's Union Minister for Tribal Affairs, Jwal Oram, informed that the ministry has approved the construction of 740 Eklavya model residential schools for around 3.5 lakh scheduled tribe youths. These schools are one of the flagship scheme of the ministry that ensure tribal students get access to quality education in the remote tribal areas. In India's national capital Delhi, a two-story building collapsed in Karol Bagh area. The National Disaster Response Force along with local police are working to save the people trapped under the debris. So far, 11 people have been rescued and sent to hospital. No news of any casualty has been received yet. Now in cricket, India is all set to face Bangladesh in Test series that begins tomorrow at Chennai's iconic M.A. Chidambaram Stadium. While the World Championship points are on stake for both the teams, Team Bangladesh too would look forward to create history on Indian ground. Let's take a look at this pre-match preview ahead of the series.
The India-Bangladesh Test Series is all set to enthrall the fans as the opening clash commences on Thursday, the 19th September at Chennai's M.A. Chidambaram Stadium. Bangladesh are all set to face a strong challenge against Rohit Sharma and co, who are the strongest side in ICC World Test Championship 2023-25 currently. On the other hand, Bangladesh, led by Najmul Hossain Shanto, would seek their first ever victory against India. Historically, India has been the superior team in the Test format against Bangladesh. If we talk about the head-to-head, out of the 13 test matches played between both the sides, India has claimed victory in 11, with 2 matches ending in a draw. Bangladesh, on the other hand, is yet to register a victory in Test cricket against India, a record that they will be eager to change this time. While India are focused on making a strong start to their home test season and will not view their 2 test match series with Bangladesh merely as preparation for their tour of Australia later this year. Ahead of the series, India captain Rohit Sharma said, "Every game is important while playing for the country. It's not a dress rehearsal for the Australia series. There are World Test Championship points at stake and we need to start the season on a high. The focus is on winning the Bangladesh series rather than looking too far ahead," unquote. Ahead of the series, India head coach Gautam Gambhir said, "I have been a big believer that we don't fear anyone, but we respect everyone. It is the same with Bangladesh. We don't look at the opposition and play the game we know. I congratulate them for what they did in Pakistan, but this is a new series and they are a quality side and we want to play good cricket," unquote. With the World Test Championship standings hanging in the balance, both the teams will have more than just pride to play for at Chennai's M.A. Chidambaram Stadium, as the action begins on 19th September, 9:30 am according to Indian Standard Time. Sports Desk, DD India.
Well, that's all for this edition of DD India Live, but do let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. For those on the go, you can get all the latest news and updates from India and across the world on DD India mobile app. The app is available on both Android and iOS. Scan the QR code on the screen to download now. And we'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I'm Abhishek. From all of us here in Delhi, thanks for watching DD India Live.